You are listening to Waywut? This is a weekly rabbit hole podcast that goes into a variety of topics ranging from the supernatural to sports to science or anything else that we find interesting. We post episodes every Tuesday. We post on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Please follow us on any of those. If you prefer video, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to talk to us or keep up with any random information we decide to talk about, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it's called, under @Waywut Podcast. That does it for all the self-promotion stuff. Thank you for listening, and here we go.
Why, hello there, and welcome to the next or another episode of Waywut. Today I'm your host, Jason Driggers, and with me as always, Darrell Holiday. Darrell, how are we today?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
All right.
I'm going to start this show off with talking about a little nostalgia. Do you remember
Wait,
What?
that's all I got?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's all I get? That's it?
For this episode,
Okay. Yeah, all right, fine.
I
But
didn't have a good one. I was trying
It's
to think
okay.
of one. I didn't have a good one.
That's all right. I just see how important I am to you.
I will give you two of them next time.
No,
How
I
about
don't
that?
want to. No, if I have to ask for them, I don't want them.
I'm sorry. I couldn't think of a good one, and I just went with your name.
Fine.
But I will make it to you next time.
Yeah, no, whatever. It better be good.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
All right.
I'll put a lot of thought into it. Okay. Do you remember the show Fear Factor?
Yes.
What did you think? Did you watch it a lot, or what did you
I
think
didn't
about
watch it a lot. Like it was one of those ones where like I was like, oh, I could totally do like all the stunts. Like I could do the things where you're like hanging on a car up in the air and stuff like that. That wouldn't bother me.
it? So you did want to be a contestant, or you
No,
think you?
because the second they were like, here, want you to like wrap this pig anus around your tongue for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm out. I couldn't even stand watching it. Like when they'd eat like testicles.
Oh yeah, and those nasty
I was just like, nope,
bugs.
done. Nope, I can't. I mean, if I probably could have done couples Fear Factor and then been like, all right, babe, gross shit's all yours.
Yeah, I got all the physical stuff. You go over there and you eat that rotted egg.
I will climb down whatever it is that they have that's way up in the air with all the safety harnesses. So there's really nothing to be afraid of because there's not.
There's not supposed to be, but one of their main premises on the show is exposing people's fears, whether they knew they had them or not.
Oh,
Well, you say you aren't scared of heights or drowning, but have you ever had to swing from under a helicopter and jump off onto a platform or try to unlock some cage while you're underwater?
no.
Well, like you said, I mean, they do have safety harnesses and nets, and everything they do is safe, but
Dude, I've
you're
jumped
still.
out of a plane.
Well, I know you're an
Bungee
adrenaline
jump
junkie.
twice. I free fell into a net once. There was like nothing, and they just dropped me in a net.
I remember that. That was a good drop. That was a good 50, 60 feet or more.
That's 200 feet in the air.
It was a long drop. I remember. It was pretty cool. Well, it's also the same place we did the bungee jump.
Mm-hmm.
But the fear of heights and the fear of drowning are pretty common fears. The use of spiders was also a constant on that show.
Ugh.
I mean, I get it why people are scared of spiders. All the legs, the nasty eyes, the big ass fangs, the furry body. I mean, I get it.
They put stuff on them that would bite them. It just wouldn't be poisonous or venomous. So,
Yeah,
it would be like something to take a chunk out of them, or whatever, and it'd be painful.
I still wouldn't want a snake or spider to bite me, whether it's venomous or not.
Oh hell no, neither one. No.
Well, speaking of snakes, that's another thing they put on there. Yeah, they would. Snakes was another constant. And they would put you in a bathtub, throw a bunch of snakes on you, and tell you to stay in there for 2 minutes, and expect you not to move and squirm around. And like you said, they're all squirming all over you. They're slimy. They're creepy. I get why people are scared of those.
Yeah, but I've held a snake despite being deathly afraid of them, but you dump a whole bunch of them on me, those snakes are going to end up getting sick because I took a shit all over them.
When we were in New Orleans, I saw down on Bourbon Street when they had all this big boa constrictors out where you could hold a 16, I don't know, it was 10-foot long yellow Burmese python where you could put around your shoulder and just take a picture of it. And if that thing wanted to, it could strangle you up in no time at all.
It's true. They can coil up on something pretty fast.
And I'm expecting this guy just to get it off me when it decides to go against him.
I mean, he's obviously a legitimate businessman. He runs his business in the middle of a street full of drunk people.
I think he has a license to sell snake pictures.
I'm sure it's just as legal as everything else is in New Orleans.
Yeah, we saw some shit.
You make it sound like we were in Vietnam. Saw some shit when we were there.
Oh man, that was a great trip.
It's burned into my eyelids. I can't sleep at night.
Well, another constant on that show was the use of rats. But why were people so scared of rats?
Because they're pussies.
Well, besides them being pussies, here are some reasons why, I'm scared of them, but other people are scared of them without having a personal experience.
Okay.
For one, the knowledge of how rats were used in torture throughout history. It's pretty widely known that rats were used in all kinds of torture techniques throughout history, whether it's involving a tube shoved up your butt or putting some kind of
torture enough. Would it be torture enough? Just shove
only
it
for raw dog it. Yeah, there's no lube then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would be a very good torturer because if I saw somebody with a tube up their ass, I wouldn't be able to help it. I would have to. Okay. I would totally be like Ace Ventura and Ace Ventura 2. Right up there,
raspberry, blowing in your butt, trying to puff them up.
like a balloon.
Oh, I know when you swallow a bunch of air, it makes you burp. So I guess if you suck in a whole bunch of air with your butt when you fart,
probably. I imagine that's how it works. I've actually, I know that's how it works because I've heard whenever someone gets a colonoscopy, a lot of air ends up having to go in there so that they can scope around and look. Oh. And they say whenever you're done with it, you're having to release all that air. So not only do you have not only do you have the indignity of having like 4 people watch, the inside of your asshole for however long they got to do that, you get to spend the next hour or so just blasting ass repeatedly.
Like a horn's walking down the street.
You just need to go down to the pharmacy first, you go in.
Every step.
Yeah.
Oh, can't wait for those days. Those days should be coming up. As far as our age. I'm turning, 45 this year?
I'll be 44. I'll be 44 in a few weeks.
I'm going to have to change doctors. I can't let a female doctor do it.
No. You can go to my doctor. He's Chinese. He's got really small hands. Got really small hands.
2 fingers instead of 1, huh?
Yeah, it's like, is that all you got, fella? Come on.
Are you in yet?
You can do better than that.
All right. Well, one of the most common techniques is torture techniques that they use for rats was they would take them and put them in a sort of bowl, cage, whatnot, and they would set it on somebody's abdomen. And what they would do is they would warm up this bowl or cage and warm it up to the point where the rats needed to escape. So the best way to escape was to claw their way through the other person's intestines and find their way out.
I mean, not only do you get an escape, you get a nice snack.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how long it actually takes for a rat to chew or claw their way through somebody's skin and how much torture that it can't be easy. They're so tiny.
I mean, well, keep in mind, rats can fit into very small holes. Hence the,
exoskeleton.
The ass play that you were mentioning earlier.
Yes, but, very small hole. Very, very small hole.
That's not what I heard. Anyway, I honestly, but between the heat and the fear and all that, I bet you they could probably claw in pretty quickly.
Yeah, when they're panicked and looking for a way out.
I mean, as long as it ain't like somebody like Jason Momoa that's got like the six of all
Six-pack.
6-packs.
Can't
Damn
get
it!
through the steel.
Can't get in. It's like fucking rock. Damn his chiseled ass.
That's pretty funny.
Is that all you got? Give me the roided up brats.
Yeah, this ain't nothing. You call this torture? Y'all should have watched Aquaman.
Ew, that's torture.
Yeah. All right, another thing people are scared of is their teeth. Their teeth are pretty gnarly. If they don't continuously chew on things, their teeth can be up to 5 inches long. And there's nothing more nightmarish than a rat with 5-inch long teeth walking the streets of New York or just coming up to your front door.
New York, like it's some sort of like
going to work,
mugger or something. Yeah, or going to work. Yeah,
another day.
That goes for all rodents: mice, rabbits, capybaras,
or beavers.
And beavers. Yes. They all have that issue. So I mean, you're just as likely to come across a 5-foot fanged rabbit as you would be a rat, I guess.
Yeah, Aubrey had a hamster at one time, and I don't know what was wrong with it. It may have been slightly damaged when we got it. It wasn't acting right. It was kind of inbredish looking. When I picked it up, it had these cross-eyed, and then it bit the shit out of me in the webbing of my hand, and I dropped it from a good 5 feet up in the air, and it just made a splash of fur on the ground.
God, Jason!
All right, didn't die that day.
We just lost all the PETA members here.
I didn't kill it; it died on its own accord the next day.
I mean,
I'm telling you, there was something wrong with it. It was weird.
There's all the inbrededness, since you got the Billy Bob of hamsters. Like, who's this? I don't know. I'm gonna bite them.
Yeah, but their teeth were tiny, and it still hurt like hell. So I could imagine a rat with 4 or 5 inch long teeth, what they can do damage with.
Probably, maybe.
Yeah. Another thing that's very creepy about them is their tail. Their tails has been measured up to 25 inches long.
I didn't like they do anything with it. It's not a prehensile tail.
Yes, they do. They actually twitch them to communicate with other rats. It's like a rat doing Morse code or something. That's some creepy ass shit.
I mean, I'm sorry, but Gene Simmons' tongue is creepier, and it's not as long, and it's used for communication.
True, but does Gene Simmons' tongue regulate their body temperature since they can't sweat?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's long enough, it probably could. Sometimes
even
wrap. Go ahead.
If I was going to pick up a rat, I would want to pick it up by its tail because it seems like the least scary spot.
True, and if you want to kill one, and I highly recommend if you want to, if you cut off their tail, they will die because they can't regulate their body temperature because they can't sweat. So the tail, without it, they would die.
Of course, you would know the way to give one the longest, slowest, painful death possible.
Yes. I didn't see any problem with that.
That's how you end up with a family of rats coming after you for revenge.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that what you want?
No.
Is that what you want?
Hell no.
Well, then don't cruelly torture your rats.
I can't get close enough to one to cut the tail off of one. I just see one and I cringe, as you will know here soon enough. Here's something you make is pretty bad, is their tenacity. They're known for great swimmers and are known to swim back up sewers and into toilets. There was also a study done in the 1950s by Dr. Kurt Richter. He was testing how long rats could tread water. Sounds like a great test to me. Just throw them in a bunch of water. Let's just see how long it takes for them to drown. I will buy popcorn to that one.
You'll fund that.
Yeah.
It's like, where do I donate? Do you have a Patreon?
He said on average, rats will give up and sink after about 15 minutes.
Oh, that's
so rat. Yeah, and that's a long time to be treading around on their little bitty rat legs and try to stay above water. It's 15 minutes. That's well worth watching. But anyway, But right after some of them would fail, he would pluck them out, dry them off, and let them rest a few minutes before putting them back. And would you believe once he put them back in the water, they lasted an additional 60 hours, hoping that somebody would come back and rescue them again.
They're smart.
Yes, they're very smart, and that's another thing that creeps me out about them is how flippin' smart they are.
I mean, I admire them a little bit. They are pretty fascinating creatures. You can
They are
tickle them.
fascinating.
You
I
can
give
tickle
them
them and they
respect.
will laugh.
Yes, and I put that under the creepy part of them. You could tickle your dog, and the dog ain't gonna freaking laugh.
He's gonna kick his leg, but yeah.
He ain't gonna laugh. But yeah, like you said, rats are one of the is known as some of the smartest non-human species on the planet, ranking them up there with chimps, dolphins, elephants, and dogs.
What about octopuses?
Octopuses are pretty damn smart too.
Yeah.
You seen that documentary where that guy befriends the octopus?
No, it's weird. Who the hell would want to be friends with an octopus? Fucking weirdo.
I don't know. It was pretty cool. His octopus recognized him, and they developed a bond, and it went on for several years. Very interesting.
That's odd.
Yeah. And like you said, make reference to this earlier, but their ability to reproduce at a rapid pace, causing an infestation, that scares people.
Yeah.
Knowing if you see one, more than likely there's a million of them living in your walls.
Not a million.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
It's not a million.
Difference between 2 and a million to me is not that much. It's still like a million.
Jesus. You're gonna become the Hitler of rats someday or something. We will find them all. We will exterminate them. We will put them in special places where we will experiment with them. Oh wait, we already do that.
Yeah, sign me up. They're also disgusting. They eat their own shit for nutritional value.
So do dogs.
Right. I remember you telling me about your dog who used to eat his own shit, and
he still does.
Even though you try to change up or put some medicine or something in to make it taste bad.
Special treats that would make his shit taste like shit. But apparently,
whatever it was tasting like before.
He's like, they changed the recipe. I can live with it.
I like it better.
I've got the big one. Like every now and then, like he whenever he gets out of after he's been in his crate for like a hot minute, he might let like the tiniest of turd out in his crate at some point. And then like anytime I let him out, he's like, "Oh, let me get this real quick," and he'll hurry up and eat it. Like he's like, "Oh, I've been
saving it for later.
I've been saving that."
No,
either he's trying to cover up the evidence. He's like, I didn't shit in there. I promise. What are you talking about? There's nothing in my teeth.
Man, this is just chocolate.
Yeah. No.
Oh wow. Well, those are some of the legit reasons why people are scared of rats. They're physical reasons, but another lot of reasons lies with people's personal experience with them. That's something that they did in their life that caused them some sort of trauma. Now, I want to tell you a story about when I grew up and how I became scared of mice. And even though I was never physically assaulted by one,
you make it sound like it was trying to come in your room and molest you.
It had ill intentions. I know it did.
Show me on the doll where the rat touched you, Jason. Show me. It's like no one will believe you.
No, I saw the look in that damn rat's eyes. It had bad intentions written all over it. There's a reason why that cat didn't go after it. But anyway, here we go. When I was growing up, I lived in a small town with Darrell in a town called Crandall. And I lived in an addition that was still up and coming, where there was a lot of fields and stuff around me. And they started building a bunch of houses. And when they started building these houses, I always remembered a story my dad told me about my grandfather, how when he was asleep one day on the couch, he was awoken by a mouse sitting on his chest, nibbling on his lip. And that, just picturing that and knowing that a rat or a mouse can climb up your bed, gently crawl on your chest, sit on you, and start nibbling on your lip without you moving or knowing, That scared the crap out of me.
You imagine the balls on that little thing though, where it's all
Right?
like, it's like, dude, this thing's huge. I'm gonna fucking eat it.
Now watch this.
It's like that'd be like King Kong being real, and it like falling, being asleep. Somebody's like, dude, I'm totally gonna eat this monkey. Just give me a knife, give me a fork.
Yeah, I'm gonna go sit on his chest and start on the one place where he can feel me the most. And that just freaked me out. So when we started getting mice in the house, I made all kinds of precautions. But it first started when I first saw one. It it, it brought home like, holy crap! There's one in the house. I'm scared.
They're real.
They're
Oh
real.
my
There
god, they're
was.
real.
Yeah, and like I mean, it was one morning about to eat breakfast, and I see it out the corner of my eye go from the laundry room door into the pantry real quick, just a gray little blur. And then I saw it come out of the pantry door and stand there. And during that time, it was a brief 10 seconds that somehow made it from my chair eating breakfast to on top of the table, pointing at the mouse. And I was just like pointing at it. There's a mouse, there's a mouse, there's a mouse. I was just could not be consoled.
How old were
So
you?
I was young. I mean, it was 6, 7, 8.
Dear
It
God.
was young, old enough to not be scared, but young enough to still jump up on the table and
Not
be
break
scared of
it.
it. Yeah, not break it. I was on all fours. I was like a damn centerpiece just sitting right there.
Did you root for Tom when you watched Tom and Jerry?
No, no. And I did watch that, and it never really bothered me. I don't know why. It
Maybe
should have.
if this mouse would have danced its way out, like another fake mouse, or
And this has been a line dance number.
yeah, something it
So,
entertained you. You wouldn't have
so
had such a reaction.
possibly, but knowing that it was in my house, I then had to take certain precautions. When it's time to go to bed, there was nothing I could do to ease my pain other than closing my door, and I will lock the door. They're smart. Now they want them to get in.
How are your parents supposed to get to you quickly?
I would go out the window. They could come through the window. I'll use the fire escape. I would do something. That entrance was going to be boarded up for the next 8 to 10 hours while I'm asleep. I would take a blanket and I would stuff it underneath the door so there's no way a rat could get in. At least I hope it wouldn't get in. At least deter it for a moment. And
How long did you have this ritual?
every time we'd have a mouse, every
For
single
how
time.
long?
Well, if some nights, we catch it the very same night where we heard the rat trap or the mouse trap go off, and we're like, yes, I celebrated.
If you knew
I
their
popped
reproduction
champagne in the back of
habits,
the house. Do what?
if you knew their reproduction habits, would that one dead mouse been enough?
No. But so I would make sure my covers wouldn't be on the ground either, because I knew that they could climb up the side of the covers and get on my chest. I did not want them nibbling on my lip. No way, no way, no how. So this carried on for years. We would get one, we'd catch it, we get one, we catch it, and then eventually a cat showed up on our back porch, where I was like, okay, I don't like cats. My dad don't like cats. My mom, my sister, nobody likes cats. But this cat is gonna stay because look at the present. It just left us on this back porch. It killed a mouse.
It paid its first month's rent.
It paid its first month's rent, and the only way we're going to keep this cat is he had to continue to keep killing mice, because this cat was not going to come inside. This was the homeliest looking cat you can ever imagine. It was really homely looking.
It looked like it was from the streets.
It was hard life. It lived a hard life. When you open his mouth, it looked like a broken window. When it meowed, it kind of skipped a little bit. It didn't really sound like a meow. Yeah, it
Had a
wouldn't cough
smoker's
up
cough.
Yeah, it wouldn't cough up hairballs. He'd cough up cigarette butts. It was the homeliest looking cat you could think of, but it was doing its job by killing the mice. Until that fateful day where
God.
we were at, I think we at a party. We partying at my house, or we had people
No,
over.
I think it was before people came over. I think some were gonna. I think at the time It was just me and you. I don't remember if anybody else was with us because nobody was in the backyard.
Right. I
And
remember looking out the back window, and you were above my right shoulder, and I saw that mouse running, or not, excuse me,
what a mouse.
it was a granddaddy rat. Yeah, it was a big ass rat, the size of a loafer, running across the top of the shelf there. And I'm like, holy crap, look at the size of that rat. I'm freaking out. The cat's nowhere to be
You
found.
misquoted yourself.
I misquoted myself.
You did not say, holy crap, look at that rat. You said,
Excuse me.
it's a rat. Don't kill it. Don't kill it. Don't kill it.
Oh, yeah. I did freak
With a
out a
death
whole
grip
bunch.
on my shoulder.
Yes, I wanted you to kill it. It was the largest, intimidating thing I've ever seen in my life, and I was so freaking scared of it. I was that scared of mice, but seeing one 17 times the size of one, it really freaked me out even more.
This one could eat both my lips.
But I don't remember seeing that rat anymore. I don't remember catching it. I know the fucking rat or the cat didn't catch it, and that lazy
I
good
saw
for
it.
nothing. I wanted you to briefly or tell your story about you running it into your run-in with that rat.
Okay, well, picture this. Darrell, 1997, maybe?
Long hair, tank top, got a hat to the side.
Yeah, that.
I got it.
It was a bucket hat. But
You wore it well.
I was hammered, and I was a smoker back then, and I would go out back to smoke a cigarette. Well, this night I was out back by myself, and I was really, really drunk, and I laid down on your picnic table and was kind of in and out of it for a little while. Awake, asleep, awake, asleep. And
Oh, yeah,
I
a
look
lot of people
over
did that.
at your back fence, and on the mid rail, how it's got the two rails that hold all the planks together. On the mid rail, that rat just comes running across. I'm like, hey, it's a rat. Okay. I just kind of just chilled out. I did not. And I think whenever I went in, I told you about it. You're like, why did you kill it?
Yeah, you had a perfect opportunity, but it came like it
I was
tell you
drunk.
hello.
I'd have missed.
It probably wanted a cigarette from you or something. It was looking
Maybe
for something.
I was really, really, really drunk that night.
A lot of
Really
people
drunk.
passed out on that picnic table, so don't feel bad.
It's a very comfy picnic table.
It was. I slept out there a few times. But once I moved out of my childhood home and moved into my dorm room and moved to a couple of apartments throughout my life, I didn't have to deal with mice or rats again until I moved back to Crandall, coincidentally, and into my current home. And the exact same cycle kind of happened again, where I moved into a house and there was a lot of empty fields around me. They started building more houses, but it was pushing rats toward our house this time instead of mice. I mean, big black things of nightmares. Yeah.
The grandchildren of the rat that we saw in high school.
Yeah. They were large. And our first run in was my son Connor found one, or he didn't know what it was at the time. They were on the back porch and they were hanging out with his cousin, and they heard something scratching in the grill. And then they brought Oakley outside, our big German Shepherd, because they weren't sure what it was. So when they opened the grill, and there was this giant Jabba the Hutt rat sitting in there, just like, "Hey, what's up? I've been in here for a year chewing on these little bits." And Oakley,
if it's gonna be a Jabba the Hutt size rat, you gotta be like, squeak, oh no, so no.
It was fat. I mean, it was plump. It almost squeaked when Oakley plucked it up and killed it.
What
It
a
was
good
so fat. But what really drove home the point of me knowing that I am super, super scared of them is Connor had another run in with him again. He's like the
rat
Steve
whisperer.
Irwin of rats, yeah. And he was in the garage. I'm not sure how he killed it, but he somehow got it in the house. There were stories about him throwing a baseball at it and hitting it off the garage, but I don't know if that killed it. But regardless, he brought it in the house carrying it by a tail. And once again, it's a granddaddy rat. I mean, it's 6 foot big. I mean, it's freaking large.
6 feet.
He's dragging it in by his hind legs.
Dear God.
But anyway, he's holding his rat by this tail, and then I'm standing by the front door, and he's showing me, like, I caught it. I'm like, and before I knew it, that scene in Dumb and Dumber where Seabass breaks into the the stall where Lloyd was sitting there taking a piss, and then Lloyd kind of crunches down into the corner, knowing his life is over. And Connor walks toward me with this rat, and I let out this scream, Daryl. Scream that's never emitted from my body ever again in my life. It was the most girlish, high pitched.
Did you? Are you about to tell me you went into the fetal position over this?
Yes, I was hunched down in the corner, and I made this noise I have never been able to duplicate again. And it was such a weird, loud, girlish scream that came out of me. I'm like, "Yep, it's true. I'm fucking afraid of them."
The fetal position over a dead rat. It was dead.
Yeah, I was close to even sucking my thumb. It was to the point I needed some comfort.
Mama.
and me screaming like a scream queen from an 80s horror movie validated my problem. Like millions of others in the world, just like some of the contestants on Fear Factor, I have musophobia, aka merophobia, aka suriphobia. As I've demonstrated, this is an irrational and overwhelming fear of mice and rats. One can experience extreme fear, panic, or anxiety. You have an exaggerated feeling of danger and it negatively affects your life. And I'm a living definition of that phobia.
That you can't function.
I can't function. It's so stupid. One's never ran up my pant leg. One's never been in my bed, scared me, or get into my car door and sitting there and nothing like that. I've just been told a story by my dad. I've had some get in my house that made me freak out about them, and then seeing the giant rats that get in my house and being confronted with one, just even though it was dead, I was still super scared of it and went to the fetal position.
And whether it was fight or flight, it was flight.
Yeah. You would think I would run the other way, but nope, everything's seized up.
That's still a flight reaction. Because you were physically blocked, so you mentally fled.
Yeah. He could have slapped me with that rat. I would not have moved. I would have stayed there.
Oh God!
And I'm tired of being scared of them though. So I thought the best way to overcome this phobia would be by exposure therapy. So I'm going to do another deep dive into rats and try to come up with something good to say about them.
I don't think you understand what exposure therapy is.
Otherwise, I'm going to look at them on the internet. That's how much exposure I'm going to get to them.
I was going to say, real exposure therapy, you would have to hold one.
No, fuck that shit. Not a damn chance in hell.
I hear they're very sweet pets.
No way. I don't know. They could be, but I don't think I could give one a chance.
You could have one rescue you from a burning building and you'd still want it dead?
Yeah.
Dear God. It's prejudice.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm trying to help people out with musophobia, and I, for one, would like to overcome mine because it's ridiculous. Like you said,
let's see how your half-ass effort goes.
My half-ass, looking online?
Yeah, your quarter-ass effort. I'm not even giving you half of an ass. Quarter-ass effort.
Hey, and I may even watch Ratatouille or Flushed Away.
No, you need to watch Willard.
See, Willard would be a good one as far as facing my fear head on, because it's a horror movie, right?
Yeah,
he controlled rats.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He befriended a bunch of them, and there was like 2 rats in particular that were like the leaders, and so with those rats, he was able to control the others. But yeah,
Did Alfred Hitchcock ever do a movie about rats?
No.
Has there ever been another horror movie like Birds with rats as the main?
Yes, there's been several. There's Gnaw 2. Those are about giant rats that they get a hold of something that makes them like the size of like German shepherds.
Holy shit!
I think there's just a movie called Rats. I'm pretty sure, but yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be staying away from those.
Face them fears.
Yeah, I really do want to get over it because, like I said, if I see a snake, yes, it's going to cause me to jump back, but I'm not going to run away from it. Same with a spider. If I see it, I'm like, oh crap, there's a spider. But then I'm going to go over there and kill it. If I see a mouse, I'm running the other direction and telling somebody else to kill it while I'm standing on top of a table. And it's no matter where I'm at, it happens a lot, and it does make me feel like a coward.
You know how like some dads abandon their kids, when they go out for smokes and scratchers?
Yeah.
You would have done it if dad saw a rat. He
I
kept running. He
open.
never stopped. Yeah. He never stopped.
Yeah, the rats we've caught in the house have either been the whole rat trap's been thrown away, but it's never been done by me. It's been done by somebody. I don't care who it is. Go do it. I ain't doing it.
You're getting your wife to do that for you?
Well, she hasn't done it, but all the kids have done it at least.
Whenever it's just you two living there and you guys get a rat, who's going to be throwing that trap away?
Well, there'll be no traps bought. We will burn the house down and we will fucking move to a new house.
You obviously have a lot of faith in how this therapy is going to go.
Oh, man. I don't know. I'm trying to find something positive with them. And
I was hoping your love would overcome your fear, but I guess that's not the case.
No, but I've actually learned quite a bit about them.
All right.
I've been reading about them and preparing for these shows, and I do respect them, but like with any enemy, you have to know them well.
Okay.
But until I come up with some positives, this will be the end of this episode. And
what? You haven't come up with the positives yet?
No, it's going to take some deep digging to find some positives, but I do have some.
Okay.
Would you like to hear one just as a tidbit?
Yes, please.
Okay. Did you know that rats were used for their sense of smell? They could actually smell out landmines. They were used to detect landmines.
Okay.
But I didn't put that on here as a positive because they were actually too light to set off the landmines, so they lived during all this. I'm like, oh, this is a great idea. They were put out there. They set the landmines off, and they die. Win-win. Where do we sign up?
They didn't have
more rats.
They didn't have the courtesy to sacrifice themselves fully.
No, them bitches, and they too light to set them off. I'm like, oh, that's a negative. So I was trying to find other positives similar to that one.
Okay.
But that was our deep dive into my musophobia and millions of others who has it. And I feel for you. And our meeting will be held on Wednesdays at the church. And until next time, keep your covers off the floor. We'll see y'all later.
Right. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Waywut. We really appreciate it. Remember that we post episodes every Tuesday and would love for you to rate us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or Pandora. If you are watching us on YouTube, throw us a comment, subscribe, and do all the other things that YouTube likes for you to do. You can stalk us on Facebook and X/Twitter with the handle Waywut Podcast. Once again, thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit, and join us next time when we'll get you to say, Waywut.